What's up, ladies and gents? This is KSigKid coming at you with another Destiny video. Today we've got a subject that is a little bit controversial, and there are definitely going to be strong feelings on both sides of the aisle, so just try to keep in mind where we're coming from on this situation and look at it with an open mind. Try to understand that everybody has some different situations and circumstances that they're in, and you can't just cover this with a blanket coat of paint. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Now, it's Saturday, and we're not doing our weekly PvP video, and that's because we just did not get enough highlights this week. So if you do have some awesome highlights, send them to KSigKidClips@gmail.com. The week before, we had just a monstrous video with a 7th column, and it was absolutely amazing. And I kind of think after showing our hand on those videos that people just got a little bit gun shy, and they were just like, wow, I can't compete with that at all, and they didn't send in enough clips. We got some clips, some really awesome clips, but just not enough to be able to pick from and make a video from. So if you still want that series to continue on, I'm gonna need your help. Otherwise, that series is going to have to go bye-bye, and that's a shame because Dutch Broser was just absolutely killing it week in and week out on that series. So it's time to get into the meat of the video, and that's talking about the fact that Rise of Iron is now a current gen only DLC. So Destiny moving forward is now going to be on current gen only, leaving the legacy consoles behind, which is really an interesting term. That is one heck of a marketing term. It's kind of like you don't call a used car, you call it a pre-owned vehicle or a certified pre-owned vehicle. We now have legacy generation consoles. But I want to talk about this from Bungie's perspective. I want to talk about it from the perspective of the consumer, both the people who are owning the current gen consoles and the legacy generation consoles, and adding in a little bit of my own take, having worked in the game development industry, working for a couple different game companies, and just talking about what the struggles and just thought process is amongst all of that. So before the Rise of Iron Twitch DLC reveal stream, we ended up actually hearing some rumors that the Rise of Iron was going to come out on current gen only. And people were getting this from where the post was up on the Xbox One store. And whenever that came out, there was definitely just a swirl of rumors going around. But as usual, I like to pretty much not delve into those rumors until it's actually confirmed by Bungie, because it doesn't make a lot of sense to really just fall to rumors whenever they're not actually confirmed by the company. But right early on in that Twitch stream, Deej confirmed that it was coming out only for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And of course, that sent the community just in a whirlwind. There are forum topics on the Bungie stream that are very filled with hate and a lot of strong feelings. And I can understand why. I can understand the strong feelings from the fact that, this is people's money. We're all in different situations as far as our money and finances go. We all have different bills. Some of us might not have bills, we just might not have jobs because we're too young. There's just a wide variety. There are so many different type of people that play video games and that play Destiny that I can't say, for instance, what to do with your money. You have to make a decision as far as what to do with your money and how you save your money and how you're able to allocate your expenses, because let's remember, video gaming is a hobby, and it's a luxury item. It's not feeding your family, it's not clothing you, it's not putting a roof over your head. This is definitely a luxury item to have, so you kind of always have to budget for your expenses and entertainment expenses in different ways. So some people, they stayed with the last generation of consoles. They didn't feel a need to upgrade to the PlayStation 4 or the Xbox One. Things might not have fit into their budget at that time. At this stage in the game in 2016 though, I think we're about 3 years into the cycle of the PlayStation 4. It's kind of getting to be that time where the old generation is just getting faded out. The PlayStation 3, I believe I've had that for almost 10 years. It's been a really long life cycle for the console, and you just can't expect these consoles to last forever. We're not expecting Destiny to come out on the Super Nintendo. In fact, we pretty much laugh at stuff like that. We're like, oh wow, is Destiny coming out on the Super Nintendo? It's just a joke. And people understand that it's a joke, but the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, we're talking about a decade of a generation of consoles out there. And you just can't expect things to just be lasting that long on that generation. It's just not feasible. I think where people are coming from though, is they're coming from the avenue of, hey, I've got Destiny on my PlayStation 3. I've got Destiny on my Xbox 360. I want to finish out all of Destiny on this console. That I understand. I do kind of understand that, and I'll be honest with you, I was pretty shocked to hear that Rise of Iron was coming out only on the current generation console. I thought it was a no-brainer for Destiny 2 to be only on the current generation of console. I'm a little bit surprised that Rise of Iron is coming out this way. But whenever I think about it a little bit, I think about the fact that these older generation consoles that we've got going on, they're holding things back. I know there are people in the forums that are saying the last generation isn't holding Destiny back, and that's just coming from people who clearly do not understand what it takes to make a video game, or what it takes to do something like this, and pretty much port a game across multiple generations of consoles. I say it all the time in our Q&A video, Destiny is a last generation game. As long as it has to be supported by the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, it is not a current generation game. You have to always budget for the smaller amount of resources in the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, no matter how impressive they were whenever they came out. The fact is, technology changes. Technology changes, and these consoles that we have are significantly limiting the amount of stuff that you can actually do in a game. There's only so much memory that you have, and there's only so much space that you have whenever you're building a game up. And those resources, they go not only to the player models, but they go to the textures, which take up a ton of space, and the coding in general for everything that's in the game. In fact, you can kind of see how limited the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 is whenever you look at some different guns like the Caprice Sting that you put on the Hunter, or the Touch of Malice, how they're limited in the animations. You can't even get the full animations on those guns on the old generation consoles. People talk about the loading screens, how whenever you just go in to look at your inventory on the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360, that it takes forever to load up if you want to just pop a synth. And what about whenever we had the Thriller dance? I believe that didn't even come out on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. I could be wrong, but I believe it didn't even come out because it was just too intensive as far as a memory constraint that it just couldn't fit on that system. So those systems are already limited a little bit, and they're just limiting what Bungie can do going forward in the game. Now again, I'm very surprised that this is something that's kind of coming up as far as the Rise of Iron expansion as opposed to Destiny 2. But it might be a case where if you happen to put Rise of Iron on the PlayStation 3, would you even have enough memory on your system to be able to load it? For me, I've got one of the original PlayStation 3s that's the 60GB one, and I'm not even sure if I could have handled having all of Destiny on that. I don't have it on the PlayStation 3, I only have it on the PlayStation 4, but I do know that I'm easily eating up all of my space, and I'm eating up all of my space on the PlayStation 4 too. These 500GB hard drives that came with the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are a complete joke. That's a whole different story and a whole different video, but the technology that's in the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One isn't exactly the greatest thing in the world anyway. And coming down the line, whenever the PlayStation 5 comes out and Xbox 2 or whatever it is that they want to number their next system, we're going to be saying the same type of thing. We're going to be looking down the line and saying, boy, the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, it was limiting whatever our gaming experience was because we just can't do what we want to do going forward with these old systems. So we just have to have our rubber hits the road moment and realize that our favorite older generation systems are going by the wayside. This might have come a little bit quicker than many people were expecting, but you have just a couple options right now in what to do. One, you could start saving up and trying to get your PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. You've got until September 20th. Of course, you don't need to have it exactly by that date. You don't need to have it exactly by that date, but if you want to continue on immediately onto Destiny as far as the Rise of Iron goes, that would be your goal date. You could start saving for that, doing whatever it takes in order to start saving your money. There are people that are very, very resourceful. I'm sure that many of you are smart enough to be able to figure out how to budget your money and get stuff in that manner. And if not, you can definitely get it a little bit later date and still join in the fun. Or you could just ignore it. You could ignore it completely and continue playing Destiny on your PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. You'll still be able to play Destiny, you just won't be playing the Rise of Iron. Or you could completely quit Destiny altogether, and that's certainly another viable option for people. Again, those of you that have been playing video games for a long time know that you just can't continue on playing all of your games from the same system. I've went through the Nintendo, Super Nintendo, PlayStation, Nintendo 64, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and PlayStation 4 in my lifetime so far, not to mention the Atari and the older systems there. So I know and I recognize whenever new systems come out, at some point I have to just buckle down and I have to purchase the new system if I want to continue on playing the new video game experiences. And that's the same thing for you out there who are still on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. If the Rise of Iron is that important to you, I know that you're smart enough and you'll be able to somehow figure out a way to come to this current generation, and I hope to see you there. Anyway, guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Check out these awesome videos. Good luck with your raids, your drops, the Rise of Iron, and I'll see you around in Destiny. Save that money, save that moolah.